Coach White. Brendan, go first.
In general, how do you feel guys are kind of adapting to a new scheme, to your scheme specifically?
Yeah, no, it's to our scheme because there's a lot of. I mean, I'm very fortunate to be in the room with a lot of really, really tremendous coaches, both young and old, and so I always want to make sure that all of us have input in it. And so, I love referring it to our defense here at Florida State, but in terms of the players wise, I think they're doing a really nice job. More so, not only the times that they have to show up, because in college football, everyone has to show up 20 hours a week, right? They got their 20 hours and they got to do it and they got to show up and they think that that's doing something. But you see a lot of guys in the building. You see a lot of guys on their extra time coming up and hanging out in the building, going one-on-one coaches meetings. At any point in time, you'll see numerous guys up in there bringing their lunch, trying to get in extra film, extra classroom work. That right there, that tells me that we're on the right path. I mean, still got a long way to go, but whenever the players do that and buy in and find time to do the extra things like that, that tells me that you're reaching them in a way that's like, okay, it'll have positive dividends later on. So, been pleased with that. It can always be better, but this is a good start so far.
Ira?
Coach Malzahn said that he felt like he learned a lot about his players today, more so maybe than in some practice. Similar for you at all, and what kind of things did you learn?
Yeah. I thought we learned something from the last practice. We had a red zone period in there, and we gave up a lot of touchdowns in there, and I got a feeling of that, like, oh man, here we go again, da 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 da. So it was great teaching moments, right? So we brought him back in yesterday, showed him the film, showed him all the things, and just bringing it always back to us and making sure that if we do what we're supposed to do and we act the way we're supposed to act, then everything's gonna be fine. And I'm not talking about the other team's gonna make plays. They got Scalise, they got great coaches on the other side of the ball. Like, they're gonna make plays, but I want to see the attitude that's like, yo, what's next? Like, hey, nothing phases us. We give up a play, okay, big deal. And one of the biggest plays today was we gave up a big play. We gave a big play, and Elijah chases a guy down 30 or 40 yards. He chased him down, got him down on the 10, and the very next play, we intercept the ball. And so teaching moments like that, I think, are huge and necessary. So got a chance to see that on display. I think the biggest thing today was giving them a chance to get the coaches out of the way and everybody off the field, and then let them operate. And then for me, being here as well, is how do we operate on the sidelines? Like, what does the headset sound like? What do the substitutions feel like? Are we correcting things on the sideline? Like, how are we as coaches on game day right now? This was my first preview. And so there's going to be a lot of things that are going to get corrected. But again, we got some really good coaches. It was fun to go out there with the guys and let them run around. And there was plays made, there was plays missed. And so we're just going to watch the tape, get the schematics right, but just more importantly, making sure we operate the right way. Like substitutions, that thing, didn't like that, especially with our guys going warp speed. Got to fix things like that, the headset stuff. But otherwise, it was good to get out there and free flow a little bit.
Yeah.
Coach, we've heard a lot about the defensive backs at the start of spring and even today with the interceptions. What have you made of their athleticism and their ability to force takeaways?
Oh yeah, I mean, we're plenty big, athletic, strong, twitchy, fast, explosive, all the things you want to use, all the adjectives you want to use. My deal is that you play football. That you put it on the grass. What good is jumping 40 inches if you don't do it when you lose every jump ball, or or run 4.4 and you're letting guys beat you to the football in pursuit. So it was really good to watch them just go out there and play. And a lot of guys shine today. Earl did a great job, Jabril. Kai, I saw Q make a couple really nice plays. Christian, I saw Christian down in there. There's a ton of guys that just made a lot of plays, but that's the thing you want to see, right? The whole offseason gives you a chance to go out there on the grass and play well. So I want to see you play well. Like, I don't care how fast your 40 was, I want to see you play well and play fast. And so you got a chance to see some guys cut it loose and see some guys not cut it loose. And so now it's our job to take the film, which was great film, and correct it and try to get some more confidence in the guys who aren't playing as fast as they should be.
Right. Now that you've done it in a scrimmage setting, calling a defense against Gus's offense,
Yeah.
what are the challenges?
I'm not going to give any kind of insight. That's a nice try, bro. That's a nice try. I'm not going to give no insights into calling a game. I'll just tell you, like, he's one of the best in the country, period. You know, I feel like if I can be prepared for that and what we go against every day, then chances are we're going to be just fine. You know, I give him mad respect, just schematically wise, just what he's doing, but also, like, you feel the attitude over there. Like, you feel like an attitude, and that's the thing. Like, that's the thing that's hard to combat. You know what I mean? Schematically wise, you can gain an advantage here and there with an extra guy, but when a team believes, when an offensive side or the defense side, they believe they're better than you are, that's the thing that's hard to overcome. You know what I mean? And so you can see that attitude that's starting to take shape over there with Tommy and Coach Malzahn and his staff, and it's fun to watch. Iron sharpens iron, right?
Peter?
Coach, going back with the takeaways, how much of you seen the urgency of the back end of the defense of learning the offense, especially with this type of tempo offense?
Yeah, I mean it's still a progression. You know, I read the stat, I forgot where it was, but 6 takeaways last year as a defense. You know, that's not good. I mean, that's not good. So that's one of the biggest things we're trying to emphasize. We're trying to emphasize that every single time we step on the field. And for the most part, in the practices, guys, you can see on film, guys actively seeing the ball and trying to take the ball away from them. Today, we didn't do a good enough job. I mean, there's a couple interceptions. That's always great. But you have 100 plus 120 plays or whatever it was, like, the ball should be taken away more than it was. You know what I mean? So that's something that's something that the competitors in the room will see and understand, and for the things we want to do, they'll get it corrected.
What have you learned about the collection of talent on your defensive line? How much do they allow you to do a variety of things?
Yeah, I mean that's the trick, right? I mean, they are. We got guys. I mean, D-Jack can literally be the top defensive lineman in the country. He's that big, athletic, and strong, and the thing that you see is he's now applying the defense to. He had a great play today, and it's funny because going back to the other practice, the red zone period, it was a very similar call, and he completely missed it. And then today I saw him do exactly what the corrections were, and he made a tackle for -4 or 5. And I'm like, see, right there, big boy, that's the way it's done. And so you're big, you're strong, you're fast on the front. Now, again, it's just a matter of making sure that we do enough to give them a chance to use that athleticism and stuff on display, but also they can't be confused. You know what I mean? They can't. We got to be able to line up. We got to be able to have our eyes right. Got to be able to get off the ball and let them play aggressive. So there's some stuff schematically that I need to clean up and fix when we're jumping in and out of the groups that I think can be beneficial to those guys, and just let them play, because man, you got length, you got size, you got speed. I mean, Grant Felder, I see Grant Felder and Aaron running around making plays back there using their speed. You know what I mean? And so you got a bunch of guys that can play. Now it's just our job to make sure that they're confident and not doing too much, you know.
Coach, I know aspirationally defenses want to be unpredictable, and you guys seem to be very much excited about you kind of letting them attack from all sorts of different angles. And this all sounds like awesome, but is it easy to make these guys kind of understand the principles? Because it feels like every defense would want to run like a 3-3-5 and be blitzing and coming off different places in different down distances. Are these guys able to pick up everything you're kind of laying down right now?
Yeah, I mean they're picking it up. You know, we still got assignment errors. I mean, we gave up a couple plays because we didn't have a DB blitzing when he was supposed to be blitzing a couple of them. So that's always going to be, right? And as long as you get down into it, like, not only the first team guys, but the second, thirds, and, you know, those guys down the line, like, you're holding them to a standard as well. So when they get in the game and they don't do something right, or the scrimmage and they don't do something right, like, that's where you're trying to use those moments to teach everybody, right? Like, this is why we do things. This is what we're aiming at. This is why we call it that certain way. And then the great thing is that, I mean, teaching never stops, right? There's always something you can teach. So the older guys, you know, they kind of got the gist of it. But then now what you're seeing is, kudos to the staff, you got to teach them the game of football. You know what I mean? Like, today we had all these situations. We had red zone, we had backed up, we had third downs, we had sudden change. We had every situation. And I think the one thing that again we got to take into it is we're trying to teach the schematics and the scheme part, but you can't take away from the actual football part. Like, hey, in this situation, guys, this is what they're going to do. literally we put it up there the other day on the situation, and today we had it for the first time. And the very first play, they do exactly what we told them that is going to do. Those things reinforce, like, Coach, you're right. You know, Coach, this is what you're teaching us, and you're right. So we got to keep that going as well as teaching the schematics. But yeah, they're doing a good job so far.
You mentioned Jabril a little earlier. You've heard about him multiple times this
Yeah.
spring. I guess what have you seen through 6 practices?
Yeah, I mean, he plays confident. I mean, he, again, athletic ability aside, he's big, he's strong, he's fast, he's twitchy, he can see the ball. But I think for him, it's making sure that he knows the assignments, and then he goes out there and plays consistently the way he's supposed to play. You know what I mean? That's I'm getting a feel like that's the biggest thing is we've had athletes here, right? We've had size, speed, explosion, but it just wasn't up there. The level of play wasn't up there consistently enough. You know what I mean? And I'm seeing that, and I'm trying to figure out why. And the great thing about it is Coach Norvell, he's putting guys in situations where, you know, maybe they didn't handle that the best way in the past. And so now he's like, here you go, what's next? You know, having that what's next attitude, having that like, hey, next play, let's go, turn it around so that way we don't let one bad play create 3, 4, 5 in a row. You know what I mean? So like with him, same deal. Like last practice, he jumps a ball and he misses an interception for a touchdown. I think the next play, he makes the next play, but then he misses a play and then he gets 3 or 4 plays in a row where he's kind of down. It's like, bro, you an NFL DB, man, you don't need to be down. Like, it's going to happen, you know what I mean? So creating that mindset of like, sometimes they're going to give up a play, so what? Just line up and play football, trust your instincts, believe in your teammates, believe in what we're doing, and you're going to make it up later. So.
It seems like for a long time, since football in general, tackling to the ground, kind of taking out a lot of time for practice, things like that.
Yeah.
So what things are you able to do, and your staff able to do to create the physicality and that mindset without necessarily always being able to do it, finish play?
Yeah, you didn't see Coach Malzahn this today. Like he laid it out there in the very beginning, which is awesome. Like again, like you think that you're passing the ball 50, 60 times a game, and that's not that guy is not like that. You know what I mean, there's an attitude over there outside the ball again, which I say about iron sharpening iron. So, you know, I think the very first things we always do is we start off with our dominant contact series and our knoll speed. You know, those are the 2 things we emphasize daily. Every single drill, everything is playing with dominant contact and playing with knoll speed. And from there, we'll handle everything else. But just the emphasis every day. And then again, it's easy when it comes from the top, how you want to play dominant contact and knoll speed. And then you're seeing it on the other side of the ball. You know what I mean? It's one thing if we're lining up in 10 personnel and empty all the time, just whatever. But that's not the case. That's not the case. Yeah.
Going back to the defensive linemen, we've heard, I think, the last couple of days from Coach Norvell about the transfers in particular. I guess one guy obviously had experience in your defense, one guy played, I think, a somewhat similar defense, another guy maybe not so much. What have you seen from the 3 portal guys, the impact they've had hitting the ground running?
Yeah, they're all hit so far. You know, not only athletic ability wise, but they're learning, they're making plays. I mean, all of them every practice have done something where you're like, wow, that's a heck of a play, man. Like, you're gonna be a really, really good player, you know. So with those guys, starting with D. Ray, you know, G. Ross, Justin, all those guys, Chuck Canner, all those guys in recruiting and scouting, those guys being able to evaluate the way we need to evaluate and have that twitch and athleticism and size. I mean, and now seeing them here, all of them can play and contribute, and it's actually fun to watch because now you're starting to put in different packages and stuff like that. Like, all right, well, what happens when we put these guys in there? What happens when we put these guys in there? You know what I mean? So, but that's a team effort. Those guys are good, and they're gonna be good football players here.
You mentioned Elijah, I believe it was, for the 30 or 40-yard track down.
Yeah.
What have you seen from him, especially coming in as a new face, just to kind of set the tone in that linebacker?
Yeah, he's like Mr. Quiet Confident. You know, he's been there, done that. You know, played at the highest levels. So you just see, like, as he gets acclimated to the way we do things here, like, you're starting to see him come out. You know what I mean? Like, he's not a big rah-rah guy, but he is a guy who you feel him on the grass. Like, you feel his presence on the grass. Like, that's like his time to, like, let loose and all that stuff. So he made a couple plays today that you're like, wow, that's pretty big-time football right there. You know, and it's fun that he gets a chance to, like, have this rejuvenation about him. You know what I mean? Like, you know, for his path and everything that he's gone through, for him to come over here and like truly enjoy what he's doing and making plays for his teammates and stuff like that. Like I think the more plays he makes, then you'll start to see more of his personality come out like that. But it's fun. He made a lot of plays today.
Corey, the last one.
Last year when Earl moved to safety and played the last week of the season, he kind of stood out on that defense with
Yeah.
his physicality, his urgency to the ball. How much now does he maybe not stand out because all the other guys are doing it too? Do you know what I'm getting? Like, are they taking the coaching and we want to be physical, we have to be physical? Is it where one you need it to be? Is it getting close?
Yeah, I mean, it's growing. It's growing in the direction. You know what I mean? Like the more they do and the more they see from their teammates, then the more teaching moments we have. You know what I mean? It's just belief, right? Everything comes down to belief. Do they truly believe in what you're saying and what you're doing? And the more that they're put in those positions, like today, great teaching moment when Elijah hawked him down, and then Earl was the one who intercepted the ball and ran it back for 6. But like Earl has made some of the biggest hits and some of the best plays all camp. You know what I mean? Like he is him. You know what I mean? He is truly him back there, and it's fun to watch the things you can do with him. But I think the more Earl makes plays, the more Jabril sees that and is starting to let loose himself. And then the more Earl makes plays, the more Jabril is making plays, the more Q is starting to believe and make plays. So like that belief is like hitting on every one of them like that, you know what I mean? And so it's just, again, that's just part of the process, right? It's just a belief in what we're doing and how we're doing it, and then using valuable teaching moments to say, this is why. Like, this is why right here. Because when they believe, like, they move different. Like, Knowles move different. Like, they believe, they move faster, they see the game, they start jumping balls, they start yelling out plays. I mean, Juice today, like, you see his progression, and he is like, he just made a couple plays where you're like, how the hell did you know that was going to happen? You know what I mean? And he was on one today. You know what I mean? And it was just like, they believe. You know what I mean? They're starting to believe and starting to see it. D-Jack today, you know, it was a 3rd down, and D-Jack is calling for a pass rush, and I say no. And he, literally during the middle of the play, he's like, I got you, Coach. I understand why. And sure enough, the next play was exactly what I thought. And he goes, Coach, like, I see. You know what I mean? So those moments right there, those are moments where you can teach them why we're doing things and why we're putting them in those positions. I think they're going to fly around faster and make more plays.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.